to the Sports Report. My friend Gary Patterson and I are here to fill you in on everything you need to know about sports. Right. And Gary, to show that I am a very democratic kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's kind of a surprise.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a chance here to pick the order of things we're going to talk in.
Okay.
A brief observation on the Celtics. A couple of brief items on football. The corpse of the Bruins. NHL playoff picture and predictions. Or a ton of Red Sox stuff.
I think we should begin with the corpse of the Bruins, since I think the body's still rotting.
The corpus delicti.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a sad tale.
Yeah. Sweeney takes the blame for the season. It's on me, he said. It's up to me to improve the roster. Sweeney did not fault Julian, the star players, or the system. I'll refer to them, as broken. He says it's up to him to reinforce the defense, add depth at forward and at goalie, and monitor the development of his prospects. The GM will, and I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, of course.
Will leave the public apologies, self-flagellation, and pledges to serve the fan base better to Chief Executive Officer Charlie Jacobs and President Cam Neely. The GM has more important work to do than speak meaningless words. Sweeney, we did not execute. You know what kind of teams don't execute at important times? Teams that aren't very good. This is Sweeney's problem, and firing Julian would have made matters worse. Yeah. How much of that do you buy?
Well, not a heck of a lot of it. I think that Sweeney, he's only had the job for 1 year. He started out by drafting 3 kids that, we knew we weren't going to see for a few years. So the jury's still out on that. I like everyone else, was stunned when they announced that Julian was coming back. I just took it as a given that they would change and they would have to make a change and he would move on and have another job in the NHL probably within a week, because he is a good coach. But it was just so, it seemed so obvious that it was time for a change. Yeah. And then to have them say, he's not going, well, it was shocking. At the same time, with the talent they have, who are they going to get that's going to get a better result? I don't know. Because I do think they have a lot of holes in the talent. But when it comes to this coaching style and the development of young players, it seemed like they're fast approaching a crossroads there, that they're going to have some young talent. Like they have some like Pasternak already. They got other coming through the system. And is he the guy to develop that, mold that into an
that's
NHL.
The part that really bugs me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it to me.
No, it doesn't. And Sweeney said, it's on me. Well.
And to a degree, the fact that the defense was terrible this year. You're in a position where you still have to rely on Zdeno Chara as your number 1 defenseman.
And we're guaranteed to have him again next year.
Right.
Because he's still got the no trade. Now, they could approach him and say, now, look, Z-Man.
Yeah.
How much is it going to cost us to trade you?
Right.
Because you know what, pal? Your shelf life is expired. We get a couple of offers. We can send you to Stanley Cup contenders.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I would even be okay with him staying as long as it's recognized that he's our 4th defenseman, right? And therein lies the problem. What they really need is 2 top pair defensemen.
Yeah,
2. And those guys are very hard to get. There's none of them on the free agency list this year.
So the ones that are going to be worth a
And if you really need a top pair defenseman, which they do, and I think they need 2, you have to trade Krejci or, decide what you're going to do. with Marchand long term? Are you really
Yeah.
going to re-sign him? If you're not going to re-sign him after next year when his contract's up, trade him now, and try to get that
29
top pair
years
defenseman.
old next
Right.
year.
He's an all-star player this
Is
year.
that really the kind of guy that you want to pay huge bucks to
Right.
for 5 or 6 years? I don't think so.
He's
But
also one of the few pieces you have that can get you that kind of yield.
That is tradable.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So their trading record has just been poor.
Abysmal. Yeah.
Awful. I mean, do you know who the leading scorer is, goal scorer is in the Stanley Cup playoffs so far?
Who?
Riley Smith.
Oh, Riley, yeah. Right.
4 goals.
Had a great year.
Yeah.
All-star year.
Yeah. And he's a right wing.
Yeah.
Gee, what do we need on the Bruins? A right wing or two.
Right.
I mean,
But couldn't cut it in this system
no.
that we just re-upped the coach to.
Yeah. Even though he plays the point on the power play, kills penalties, and potted 25 goals for
Right.
Florida. But he didn't fit in Boston.
Didn't fit here.
Wasn't Claude's kind of player.
Yeah.
And
Therein lies the problem.
therein lies the problem. We got Jimmy Hayes.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy's big, you know, and man, he can stand in front of the net, and you know, he plays with some sandpaper, whatever the hell that
Yeah.
is, whatever that means, you know. But he doesn't.
Yeah, you know, Charlie Jacobs made an interesting comment about, you know, changing the team by evolution than revolution. And, you know, they haven't kept up with evolution because the game has clearly evolved in the last 10 years.
No.
And I agree with
question.
you. They're still trying to build their team the same
Yeah.
way you did 10 or 15
You
years
know,
ago.
when they got Nathan Horton,
Yeah.
it was blind luck that he stepped in and became an overachiever.
Right.
And then they fell in love with him and wanted to pay him $1 gazillion dollars. You know,
And then he got hurt.
his wife and he wanted to raise the children
Mm-hmm.
in a very calm and laid back area,
Right.
not Boston with all the helter-skelter and everything. So he went out to Columbus, and you know, we dodged a major league bullet.
Yep.
Because we could be paying him over the next 5 or 6 years
Right.
too a huge amount of money, and he'll never play hockey again.
Yeah.
Then we looked at some of these deals. We couldn't find a taker on the market for Louis Erickson.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Tell me something. You know, we weren't offered a number 1 end player. Well, if you take 2 number 2s this year and a number 3 next year,
Mm-hmm.
you got something.
Right.
As it stands now, we're going to get nothing
Get nothing, yeah.
because he's boogieing. He's gone.
In all likelihood, he is.
Yeah.
You know, they do have the cap space to sign him if they want to.
See, here's the deal. I am afraid that they're going to panic, say, oh, we look like bozos letting him go, so we're going to overpay him to keep him here.
Right.
Oh, gee, that's great, a 30-year-old. Let's, you know, throw 5.5 at him over a
Yeah.
5-year period,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, you know,
Oh,
in defense of Sweeney, the one thing he has accomplished so far is he has freed up some cap space,
yeah,
right? So you got to be careful how you spend it. And
Yeah.
don't lock yourself into bad
Yeah.
deals. But, you know, conceivably, Erickson could be re-signed and other people could be traded. If you think Erickson can fit here, or Erickson wants to be
Well,
here, and
if
that
we're-
goes directly back to Claude
if
again.
we're,
Does he want to be here?
yeah. If we're going to hold on to Marchand, I think Erickson's gone.
Yeah.
But if they would entertain trading Marchand and kind of, if you will, blowing things up, maybe a controlled explosion,
Right. Right.
then Erickson then becomes more valuable in that role, I think, than if they were to overpay him and keep Marchand too. Because they're both going to be long in the tooth before we know
Yeah.
it. I
And
don't know.
Tuca's another subject. I
Yeah,
mean, you're
well,
gonna,
he
you
is.
know,
I mean, we couldn't wait to offload Jones.
right.
We get him, and what do we have him for a day? And we
Yeah, I
offloaded
think it was
him
a
to
day.
San Jose. Yeah, well, cheap.
Did get a number one for him, but
That's right.
you know,
That's right. But with our abysmal record of picking number ones,
right.
I just can't wait to see what this is going to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming that they will trade at least one of them. They have 2 number 1 picks this year, so they made the 3 picks last year.
Yep.
Kids are probably still 2 years away.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting to see what you do. You pick 2 more kids that are going to be 3 or 4 years away when you pick them, because if you do Don Sweeney, the odds are there's going to be a new general manager
That's
when they
exactly
get here.
right. Yeah.
Or do you trade those out and get some veterans in here and try to, could you
And
get,
then you're aiming for a short-term fix, where with young players, conceivably you could be looking at a long-term fix.
yeah,
You know, if it were Lou Lamoriello here and Joel Kenville here, I'd say let's blow it up and rebuild. I'm not sure that
yeah,
Sweeney and Neely and Julian are the troika that I want to go down that path with.
right.
I think I think we're whistling in the dark, by the way, but I think it would be very important to sign young Vesey.
Yeah,
Now,
I agree.
he's not an 18-year-old junior
Nope.
out of some little city up in Saskatchewan. He's 22 years old with a degree. All right? He's not a dummy. I think he's the kind of player that comes in steps in.
right in.
Yeah. Maybe polish him off for half the year down at Providence. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
I think the way the Bruins are going to shape up, I think you bring them up and but to jerk them up and down and then put them in the press box like he does with all the other young hockey players.
I mean, I think I agree with you. That's a critical move for them.
It
to
is.
make. I mean, they don't have to spend any draft or player personnel capital to make that move.
That's exactly right.
But
that is the low-hanging fruit.
But they are going to have to be good salesmen.
They are.
They're going to need to close that.
And they're going to have to say, we have leveled it, the playing field with Julian, and we have told him in no uncertain terms he's playing young players, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well, if they can sell Vesey on that, okay. I have a hunch they're not going to be able to sell him on that.
I think it's an issue.
Yeah. I think that the Chicago Blackhawks are going to come whistling, or some good hockey team who, holy cow, I could go play for them and be in the Stanley Cup playoffs for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
Wow. You know, that, if you're a kid, that's got to open your eyes sky high.
Yep.
We'll
see.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
so.
Sweeney's, this is a huge year for him, and we'll see how he does.
He
needs to rebuild that defense, and
this
I don't know how you
is a
do
huge
that.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seidenberg, it's got 2 more years on his contract.
Yeah.
And I mean, now he's coming off back surgery.
Right.
I don't think he was ever right this entire year. I don't think he ever had to see legs under him, but it's going to be a year
I don't think so
older.
either. And if you tell me, if you can somehow work it out so that Seidenberg's your 6th defenseman next year.
Yeah, but you see,
I know you have to pay him, but
you made a wonderful comment when you said, you say to Chara, you're my number 4 defenseman.
right.
Sadly, he's their number 1.
Right.
He's the best defenseman they got.
Right.
And
it shows.
it shows.
The defense down the stretch was terrible.
You know, the odd times that Julian must have got struck in the head by a lightning bolt and got a new idea was putting the Z-man up front, clogging the
in
net
front of the
on the
net.
power play.
Yeah.
You know, that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he is a big, strong guy that you can't move.
Right.
Well, jeepers creepers.
Yeah.
But he ended up back on the...
Could you get somebody to take him for his leadership qualities? Maybe. he does still bring leadership qualities. He still has a little bit of an intimidating force, even though these little guys know they can get away from him now. You know.
Supposing there were a team that had two, well, Hannafin is a perfect example down to Carolina. Supposing you had a team that had a couple of very young players, defensemen,
Yeah.
but very promising. Well, the Z-Man would be a nice fit for a team like that for a year or two.
Yeah, to mentor them. Yeah.
You know, to mentor them, to protect them,
Yeah.
and to show them how to get it done. He's a dedicated guy. He's always in good shape. It's just that he's slowed down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, finding that situation is probably the only way
Yeah.
you're going to move him.
Otherwise, I think you're stuck.
Right.
But if we have to go through another year of watching Brett Conley out there.
Yeah.
Now, you know, here's another mystery. He can skate.
Yeah, he could shoot.
He could shoot.
Yeah.
But he can't play
He can't
hockey.
play. Yeah. And this is now his second stop where that's the case.
Do you remember a fringe player the Bruins had quite a few years ago by the name of Peter Duras?
Yeah, that name
Yep.
rings a bell, yeah.
He was around for 2 or 3 years. Peter Duras was the best skater on the team, arguably. He could shoot the puck, but he couldn't play hockey.
Yeah.
God, he was going in the wrong direction. He was going upstream. They were coming downstream and vice versa. And just the tools are there, but...
Kind of like Rusty Castillo.
Oh, yeah, Rusty.
Not to change
Well,
the subject.
yeah, I think we better change the
Yeah.
subject before I go nuts. But before we leave the world of hockey,
Yeah.
I'm going to lay a couple of things on you
Oh,
here.
boy.
Florida versus the New York Islanders. The Islanders, believe it or not, lead the series 2-1.
Yeah.
How you picking that one?
I think Florida's going to win.
All right. Gary has Florida. So doesn't Bill. Cream has got to rise to
Yeah,
the top.
that's
Although,
thought.
I don't think this will be an easy series for Florida to win.
No, none of them are easy.
They don't have Stamkos.
That's
Wait a minute. Stamkos plays for Tampa Bay.
Tampa,
We'll get to
yeah,
him in a
we'll get-
minute.
that
But
sucks.
the Islanders, a pretty solid team.
yeah.
I like Tavares a lot. And Florida doesn't have a superstar like Tavares. He's the kind of guy that can,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can hitch your saddle to him and he can win some games for you. He's a hell of a good hockey player. Tampa Bay, Detroit. Tampa Bay's 3-1.
Yeah.
And they're doing this without Stamkos.
Without Stamkos.
You know?
Yeah, I think they'll pull this series out, and then that will likely be the end of the line for them. And then Stamkos can move to Boston when we sign him.
Wouldn't that be quite the thought?
Yeah, the hell with Louis
And-
Erickson, right? We're going to sign Stamkos.
Listen, I'll tell you what. Would you go $9 to $10 million?
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you can fit him under the
They're
cap.
not even going to take your call unless you're in that range, right?
Yeah.
And it's
And
going to be a
there's-
number of years.
There's still some magic to a playing for an original 16.
Yeah, and he's a heck of a player.
Yeah, and I really and truly think too that a lot of the Canadian kids play better in the cold than they do down in Florida.
You know, I look at Stamkos and I think of, even though they play different positions, I think of when they brought Chara in. That Chara was an elite player.
Do you know?
And they hadn't signed anybody big in a while, and all of a sudden they went out and they got Chara.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
When I look at Stamkos, do you know who I see? Mike Bossy.
Mike Bossy.
Yep. On the power play, he gets that razor right-handed shot. He gets over on the left side, and he gets those one-timers.
Snaps
And
those
that's
things
the
off,
kind of
yeah.
stuff Bossy used to do. Bossy was a great skater. Stamkos is all right. But Stamkos, boy, he's got a nose for the net.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to get way off track here. But, you know, we talk about Bobby Orr being the greatest defenseman of all times, and he was. But, you know, then I have to listen to some charlatans that try to sell me on Paul Coffey.
Oh, please.
I mean, For heaven's sakes, you and I could have played defense on that team,
Yeah.
for heaven's sakes, and got 100 points.
And Paul Coffey was a good player, but
He was a good player.
don't use him in the
Yeah.
same sentence as Bobby
No.
Orr, please.
And don't put him in the same sentence as Dennis Potvin either.
Right, I'd agree with
because,
that, too.
boy,
I'd agree with that.
that is the guy that I flat out loved, Dennis Potvin.
Yeah,
Play it any way you want. You want to play physical? I'll knock you on your keister.
yeah,
You want to play offense? Boy, I'll tell you what, I'll
do
get a
that
pot
too.
full of goals.
yeah,
And leadership just poured out of him.
yeah.
He was, oh boy, what a hell of a hockey player he was. Man,
And we need one of those guys desperately here.
that's exactly right. Yeah. Washington leads Philly 3-0.
Yeah,
It's not going to be any.
it's going to be 4-0.
The city of brotherly love is
That's one
no
of those,
comeback there, huh?
One of those 7-game series that they won 3-0.
Yeah.
They swept 3-0.
Yeah, Washington is, you know what? Washington could screw up and lose a game. It would have to be the next game.
Yeah, it's always possible.
But that's it. But if when it goes back to Washington,
Washington
Philadelphia,
is in
get the
zone.
golf clubs out.
Yeah,
Yeah. Pittsburgh, New York Rangers.
yeah.
Pittsburgh leads 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Sullivan has done a great job with Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Very talented coach, and the Bruins should never have dumped him. Sidney Crosby is obviously been reinvented
mm-hmm.
under Mike Sullivan, and he is playing the way an elite player.
He is playing very
He
well.
certainly wasn't playing that under the previous
Yeah.
regime. Blimey
I
there.
have to agree with you.
Yeah. I think Pittsburgh wipes out the Rangers. I really do.
I do too, and I think I like the Rangers a little bit as a team, but I think Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think too the Rangers are getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, they are.
Lundqvist is what, 34 or
Yeah.
35?
They're another team, maybe,
And
wants to
I
make
think
some
that
changes.
yeah, they've paid a lot for some guys down there. They still got on the books that
Yeah.
are gone, and I think rebuilding the Rangers could be a tough deal.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. But Pittsburgh, they are definitely headed in the right direction.
Yeah,
Dallas, Minnesota. Dallas leads 2-1 without our lad that we sent down there.
Sagan.
Sagan.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. Minnesota is not a bad hockey club.
no, I think I've watched them a little bit. I think they're solid,
Yeah, they're very solid. Yeah,
not spectacular, but solid.
exactly right. Exactly right.
Could they get in a roll and beat them? They could.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, I'm going to call Minnesota to upset them.
I think that's a solid call.
Yeah. All right. How about the St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks?
Yeah.
St. Louis leads 3-1.
I know, amazing, huh?
Holy moly!
Another situation where it's they're a good team, but I think I thought Chicago was actually might pick to win the cup.
Yeah, me too.
So it's surprising, and also I would say about Chicago, they are not out of this series.
No.
No.
I'll tell you what though, we better put on our big boy pants if we're going to call Chicago to come back from a 3-1 deficit.
Yeah, I know.
St. Louis, I think they got the horses to win one more game.
I do too. At this point, I would pick them.
Yep. San Jose and Los Angeles. San Jose leads 2-1 with our goalie.
Yeah. I think they can do it.
I think so too.
I think they're going to win. And,
Yeah.
Milan Lucic will become a free agent.
Yeah, then what becomes of him? I asked you that last time.
Yeah.
I wonder
It'll
if
be
the
interesting
Bruins,
to see.
Be interesting to see who offers him a pile of money, if in fact anyone does.
Right. I don't think he's going to make as much money as he thinks he's going to make.
No, I think he's 4.5, 5 million,
Yeah,
5.5.
he was
maybe,
hoping for
maybe.
7 to 8.
Yeah, well, he's not going to get that unless the world has gone mad.
Perhaps.
All
it takes is one.
Steve Swish is still getting $15 million to play in the minor leagues.
There you go.
Anaheim and Nashville. Nashville leads 2-1.
Yeah.
I don't really have a good feel for either team.
I don't either, to be honest with you. So I'd love to see Nashville just because it's Nashville.
Let's call it Nashville then, shall we?
Okay.
All right. the latest lines for tonight, I wrote them down, but there's nothing special. Washington, you got to put up 170 to make 100. Philadelphia put up 100 to make 158. I don't see any future in either one of those
No,
bets.
there's nothing terribly exciting there.
No. The Islanders, you put up 100 to make 115. Florida put up 100 and you get 105. Again, nothing exciting. The same spread with Dallas over Minnesota. Same spread with San Jose over LA. So you know what? I'm keeping my money in my pocket.
Fold it twice and put it back in your pocket.
That's
Yeah,
it.
right.
Absolutely.
I'm with you there.
All right.
You do have to love playoff hockey, though.
Yeah.
It is. It is the best.
You know, if only they could play like that all year long, but there'd be dead
They
bodies
would- yeah,
every place
they
and
would-
burnouts.
Yeah.
And,
To
oh,
have a 50-man roster.
that's it. I have the following brief observation on the Celtics.
The Celtics, yes.
No big man.
Right.
They got manhandled these two games with Atlanta. Al Horford looks like he's playing against teenagers.
Yeah.
But you know, one of the things that amazed me about last night's game, Millsap went 1 for 12 from the floor, and the last time Atlanta played the Celtics during the regular season, he killed them with
Yeah.
those threes.
Millsap's a good player.
Yeah, 1 for 12.
That we don't really have an answer for.
We don't.
an
We don't
answer
have
for
any
Horford
answer at
either.
all. Boy, I'll tell you though, Crowder went 1 for 9 from the floor. The one I'm disappointed in is Sullinger. He has not shown up.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
very disappointing.
2 for 5 from the floor.
And he
Grabbed
was-
4 rebounds.
Yeah. And he faded down the stretch of the
He
regular
did.
season.
You know,
And
he's carrying
he's
an awful lot of weight.
He's heavy.
Yeah,
You know, all we heard in the off season was the new Jared Sullinger
Yeah.
has lost some weight.
yeah, and I think he did, but I think
but
he
I think
packed
he's
it
put
back
it on during
yeah.
the season. He's
Yeah.
heavier now than
Yeah.
he was at the beginning of the year.
You know that old saying, don't you? Crisco, lard in the can.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a can
He's
on
got-
him about 3 axe handles wide.
He's got Pablo Sandoval disease.
Bungo!
Yeah.
We'll get to him shortly.
Get him out of the buffet line.
You know, I love Evan Turner, but you know he was 5 for 12 last night.
So do you re-sign Evan Turner?
Yeah,
'Cause he's,
I would love to. I'd
one
love
of their
to.
few free
yeah,
agents.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I think he's going to get some big money.
Yeah, I think. So you want to hear my fantasy for the Celtics?
Let's have it.
That you go out, they have the space, as well as a lot of teams, including the Lakers, have the space to sign 2 max
Yes,
players.
they do.
So they go to Durant and say, come to Boston, bring your buddy Al Horford, and then we, the Celtics, because we're going to have the third, maybe 15% chance, the first pick in the draft, we've got a ton of draft picks and a ton of young players to get Russell Westbrook to come and play. And we lured Durant by saying we can actually get Westbrook because he likes playing with Westbrook and he's buddies with Al Horford. So we signed the 2 of them and we trade for Westbrook.
Yeah,
And
and you know we've got
we're
some.
back.
We've got some attractive trade pieces.
We have
too.
a lot of attractive trade pieces.
Yeah.
Starting with what will be, hopefully no worse than the 3rd pick in the draft
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah. You
Plenty
know,
of future picks, plenty of young players.
I know that Horford's only going to be good for a couple of years. I think there's a lot of miles on that because he plays hard.
Right.
He plays hard. But you know, with maybe playing 25, 26, 28 minutes a game,
Right.
Horford could stretch it out to a 3-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
I love Horford.
Yeah, as a number 2 guy. He's
Yeah.
not a number 1
That's right.
franchise type player,
but
a
you know, he-
complementary player to a Kevin Durant.
He
would be
comes to
fabulous.
play.
Fabulous.
Comes to play. He's got a presence out
Yeah.
there on the floor. It's got a big sign on him that says, "Don't mess with me."
And the Celtics do have, if you had those lead horses, they've got pieces to both fill in and make a trade for a Westbrook.
But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to trade Avery Bradley. He's about the closest thing I think
Yeah.
of to indispensable
Well,
on that team.
Unfortunately, if Oklahoma City were interested in doing this because they're going to lose Durant anyway, and they have to rebuild. And Westbrook has only 1 year left in his contract, and then he's going to leave. He's probably going to go wherever Durant ends up. So you just cut to the chase and get him now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think you'd have to include Avery Bradley in that deal because I was hoping you could get Marcus Smart, but if Oklahoma City watches the tape of the first 2 games of this playoff series, they're going to say, why do I want Marcus Smart? Because
Marcus went 1 for 11 from the floor.
He's looked awful.
Yeah. There's not a better.
It's not just bad shooting. He's looked out of place out there.
Well, this is moving the basketball game to another level.
Yeah.
Marcus isn't ready to do it.
He's not there.
No. But I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of potential. And
he does.
He is well, I think he could become the best defensive guard in the game.
I do too. And Bradley is and him and Bradley
chaos
may already be the best defensive pair.
He'd like hell to move Bradley.
I would too.
Yeah.
Because I think he's took a big step this year.
If we have to lose Evan Turner and trade Bradley, maybe our plans aren't going to exactly fall into place here.
Well, you have to. One thing that's really been exposed against the Hawks is the Celtics had a great year. They're a gutsy team, but they don't have what it takes to win.
Ready to go up that next step.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're being.
Amir
pretty obvious.
Has filled a role.
And he could fill a role on a good team.
Yes, he could. But you can't he's not ready for prime time, and he's never going to be ready for prime time. And
But if he was backing up Horford?
29 or 30. Yeah. Now there's the role for him.
He's a backup to Al Horford. Now you're talking.
Yeah. Do you hold on to Olynyk, or is he gone?
No, I like him, but
limited. I mean, he's going to be a certain type of player. He's never going to make the All-Star team.
I mean, look, if you really were able to get a Russell Westbrook and do that pairing with Durant,
there'd be no room for Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah. You wouldn't really have room for Solinger either.
No.
So, you could trade that great pick you're going to have.
Yep. And Solinger.
Pretty much give them their pick.
Yep.
Solinger. I would try to move Marcus Smart to them, but I would suspect they would come back and say it's got to be Bradley.
Or if they say it's Isaiah. Or if they come back and say Isaiah.
They trade Isaiah.
Yeah.
If that's the difference to get.
Yeah. That's my feeling, too, because Isaiah drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's almost like he's out of control.
If you really could get Durant and Horford to pretty much come as a pair, as players do now.
Bingo.
And the deal was, you're going to come because we're going to go get Westbrook, no matter what we have to pay. Then you'll trade anybody.
Yep.
If it has to be Isaiah, it has to be Isaiah.
That's right. And if we have to then trade what draft picks we have left for a decent point guard, then so be it.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that.
They've got the pieces.
Yeah.
It's those big impact guys up front that they don't.
Can't lose Isaiah and the other two.
I love Isaiah like everybody else.
Yeah.
But he's a limited player.
He is a very limited player.
And that's been on exhibit the last 2 games
it has.
too. When the defense really ratchets up.
Yep.
And he's not in transition getting wide open threes. Yeah. Plus he hasn't shot well. I mean, he just hasn't shot the ball. He may be tired.
Again, it's that step up in
right.
intensity. And, Evan Turner is the kind of guy, too, that you could write a scenario for him that he takes more of the offense on his shoulders and starts taking guys into the paint, backing them in.
Yeah.
He's a weapon when he does that. He should not be shooting threes.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the threes. He actually didn't shoot that many threes this year, but
he did.
Because he can't shoot them.
Because he can't. Yeah.
Right.
And I shudder when I see Smart shooting threes too.
Yeah.
He bangs a couple of them in, but.
Yeah, and when he bangs a couple of them in, then he just keeps shooting.
Yeah, then he keeps on pooning them up. So, to warm up for baseball, I have a couple of questions here.
Yeah, the season's underway.
The first player to hit 30 home runs, score 125 runs, and steal 45 bases in one season. Who was that?
Trout?
Mike Trout. All right.
Wow.
You were sharp.
Thank you.
4 players have hit over 350 5 times since World War II.
Over 350 5 times?
5 times. Since World War II.
5 players you said? How many players?
4 players.
4 players.
Yeah.
4 players.
I'm going to give you.
I'm going to say George Brett.
Aha.
Is he on the list?
No.
He's not on the list.
No. How about 2 Red Sox players?
Wade Boggs.
Yep.
And, oh gosh, who's the other one?
Who's the greatest hitter of all times for the Red Sox?
The greatest hitter of all time?
For the Red Sox.
Ted Williams.
Yeah.
Is
He
he the
also
one?
did it. Yeah.
Wow.
Rod Carew.
Okay, I think I would have got to him.
I think so, and I think if I gave you enough time, you'd hone in on Tony Gwynn, too.
Ah, yeah.
Good hitter.
Other name that popped into my head briefly was Tony Oliva, but I don't think he did it.
No,
many times.
no.
Good hitter, though.
Good hitter, but he wasn't in the same category as Carew. And
got hurt
Gwynn.
a lot. Got hurt.
No, and it's too bad we didn't get to see more of Gwynn.
Yeah, I know it. In
yeah.
the American League.
What
yeah.
a great player.
You know,
The
yeah.
youngest player to lead the National League in hits
in
ever.
hits
in a season.
I don't know. I'd go with Trout just because nothing else popping into my head.
Stalin Castro.
Well, we would have been here a long time before I guess.
You got that one right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
One player for 7 straight seasons batted over 300, hit over 20 home runs, had over 100 RBIs, and had over 100 walks. One player, 300 for 7 seasons, 20 home runs, 100 ribbies, and 100 walks. I took this test blind. I picked out what I thought were the best questions. I never got this one.
I know. It's an interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, people like Mantle come to
The
mind.
Big Hurt.
Really?
Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas.
Yeah.
He hit over 300. I mean, that was the one that stopped me
Yeah.
in my tracks. Was the hitting 300 that many years in a row?
Yeah. What player had the most RBIs in a career? 1,903. And never once led the league.
Never once led the league.
Never once led the league.
Let's say Willie Mays. Just
Willie Mays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
What player
lucky guess.
reached base? They were making a big deal last night on TV about Pedroia. He'd been on base 8 games in a row or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What player reached base a record 84 consecutive games?
I'm gonna go with Boggs.
Teddy Ballgame,
Teddy Boggs.
1949.
Yeah.
And lastly, we'll have to cut this one short because we'll be on this forever. The team that had 5 consecutive Rookies of the Year. They won. Their player won the Rookie of the Year 5 years in a row.
The Cardinals.
No, the L.A. Dodgers.
L.A. Dodgers.
1992 to 1996. You remember Mike Piazza,
Sure.
Raul Mondesi. I think he's still playing.
Yeah.
He's coaching now.
He's probably playing somewhere.
Hideo Nomo.
Yeah.
But do you remember Todd Hollandsworth?
I do remember him. But
Okay.
I do remember he didn't do much.
Eric Karros.
Eric Karros.
Yeah.
I think he had some injury problems
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. They both had relatively short careers. Yeah. But 5 years in a row.
That's amazing.
And you should have built one of the great powerhouses
Yeah, how
of
many
all
championships
times
did
out
they
of
win?
that.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone from the ridiculous to the sublime now.
Okay.
So I'm going to start just giving you names. You just shoot them at me. Shoot right back at me.
Okay.
Blake Swihart.
Blake Swihart, nice little player, and disappointed in his catching though. Disappointed in some of that, but could be trade bait.
He's a good hitter,
Good hitter.
and he's a good athlete. He's going to
Yeah.
end up someplace.
Yeah, I think he could be a good trade
but-
bait.
Do you think that really this was the greatest boost in the kids' confidence, the way they handled this? I mean, the pitchers really piled on here.
I know.
Oh, thank God, oh, I'm glad to have Christian back. He's the most wonderful catcher that God ever created.
Yeah.
Between him and Hannigan, they can really handle us, but...
Then he came back and threw the guy out at first the first night he was
Yeah,
back, but then he had a couple of pass balls that hurt over the last few games. So
Yeah. Christian Vasquez, Ryan Hannigan. So are we better off with Christian Vasquez and Ryan Hannigan now as our daily double?
Well, I think we're better off with Swihart playing every day. And if
down in
that has
Pawtucket.
to be in Pawtucket,
Yeah,
so be
and
it.
I really hope that...
I do agree with that.
that what-
Last year, there was no intention for him to get as much playing
That's
time
exactly
last year.
right.
But
Yeah.
injuries forced their hand, right?
They said...
When they lost Vasquez and Hannigan.
Yeah, I look at WEI.com,
Yeah.
and they have the minor league report every day, and they said, the Red Sox said that Swihart will not have a day off. He is going to catch, he's going to play the outfield,
Yeah, left
and he's
field.
going to DH, but he is going to be in the lineup every single day.
I'd even stick him at first base to try that.
Absolutely, third base. He played,
Yeah.
and by the way, up to Cheapest, I think when he was like 19, he was a shortstop.
Was he?
Yeah,
Third base, we should try him.
that's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he has a chance to be a good hitter.
Well, I think he has
A good hitter.
and he's a switch hitter, and he's good from both sides of the
Yeah.
plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can run.
He can run.
Yeah,
And he needs to work on his catching. He's got a decent arm. He doesn't have a Vasquez arm,
Nope.
but he's got a decent.
he
But he's
threw-
rougher on the edges. You
Yeah,
can
he
see
is.
it.
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
young, so
And I think
Let him
calling
go
the
down there and
game is
catch every day.
probably a legitimate complaint.
yeah, I do
But
too.
by same token, you don't put it in the paper about your catcher. I mean,
No, you
gee,
don't. No, you don't.
I-
And I would have said he's just going to go down so he can catch every day.
yeah,
And we
That's
fully expect him to
exactly
be. He's
right.
going to be back here during the year, and he is going to be back.
and that's
here
what
during the year.
Dabrowski said.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah,
be
when
back.
Rosne Castillo and Alan Craig. Isn't it great that John Henry has the kind of money he can afford to have these two guys playing the outfield down in Pawtucket?
Yeah. Well, it is great that he's not insisting that they have to be on the 25-man
Yeah.
team up here.
Yeah. I'm sure he's given Dabrowski total 100% control of this operation.
And he's
And-
viewing it as spent money, which
Yep.
he should. I mean,
Yep.
they're making plenty of dough.
Yep. Rather than sign Chris Young, why didn't they just bring Craig up and hope that his foot problem is finally been cured?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is a clutch hitter. Now, granted, he's not the greatest first baseman or third baseman or outfielder you're ever going to see, but he's not going to embarrass you hideously at those positions.
Yeah. What happened to him is kind of a mystery.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
really.
he just
Yeah, it's just as. Now, they claim that that foot, his plant foot, just threw everything off. But they also said he's past it now.
yeah.
We'll have to see how he does down
I
there.
mean, he was a pretty good hitter just
He
a couple
was.
of years ago.
Yeah.
When we got him
Yeah.
for the National League.
The outfield up here, Chris Young, JBJ, Mookie Betts, and Brock Holt.
Yeah.
What was Brock Holt doing on the bench the last 3 games?
Yeah. I don't know. He's
That
got off
is
to a pretty
a
good start, too.
real mystery.
That is a mystery.
So do you think he's going to break out of the slump sitting on the bench?
Yeah.
I mean, jeepers. I'll tell you what. I don't think John Farrell is in the running for manager of the year with the job he's done so far.
Yeah, they have. They've played some good teams, so they're basically around 500.
Yeah, aren't they what? They're 1 game down.
One game under now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
After last night, last night it was funny. I was trying to flip back and forth to the Celtics game, and the Red Sox loaded the bases with nobody out.
I
And
know
said-
it. I was sitting
and I
there
happened to
watching it.
flip over because there was some kind of delay, and all of a sudden I flipped back and there was 1 out, and I said, okay, I'm going to flip back to the Celtics game while the player was getting rosin or something. And I came back and they were at commercial.
Doesn't take long to have a
Came back and they
double
were at commercial.
play. Yep.
Double play.
Yep.
No runs. No more hits the rest of the night.
Boy, I'll tell
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
They're struggling.
Mark Trumbo
Yeah.
is beginning to look like the greatest outfielder of all time.
He's mashing.
5 home runs and he's batting .386.
Yeah.
Wow. Manny Machado's batting .383. They
Yeah.
get
Good starts.
Yeah, good starts. Yeah, it'll
Good
be
starts.
interesting to see.
Let's see where they are.
But I'll
at the
tell
end
you
of
what
August.
about Trumbo, and I think we talked about this last time. First time he's ever been in a lineup like this.
Yeah. Protected. And
Yeah. Whoa.
people can't pitch around him. Yeah.
Marco Hernandez, and I think I mentioned to you, I really liked this kid when I saw him down at Pawtucket last year. He was up there for about half the year.
Yeah.
We got him in the Felix Doubront Chicago Cubs
Okay.
trade. By the way, Felix is having Tommy John surgery.
Oh, is he? That's
Yep.
Too bad.
So
Sorry to
that's
hear
the
that.
end of that for a while.
Yeah.
Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's an interesting guy because when you look at his career stats, they're in some respects they're eye-popping.
Yeah.
The one concern is the walks. When you look at the per inning, 9-inning numbers, he's at 5.3 or something walks per 9-inning career-wise, which is ideally not what you'd like to see in your closer. But I actually like the guy. I mean, I think he's got off to a little bit of a rocky start. I hope he can handle Boston. I think he can.
There is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Dave Wallace. I was friendly with Dave Wallace. I
Yes,
used to
a
walk
local
with him
boy.
up to the
Yeah.
gym and all that. He told me, he said, I don't care who he is. He said, I'm not trading for him unless I'm convinced he can pitch in Boston.
Yeah.
He said, you know, he said, you think you're getting Richard the Lion-hearted and you get somebody with the heart the size of a blueberry when he gets out on the mound.
Yeah.
And he was really, really very strong about that. Is Kimbrell feeling the pressure?
Well, I'm sure he is feeling the pressure. He's had a rough start.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll see what happens. I mean, he throws hard. He strikes people out. He's been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
He's had a couple bad outings. It's April.
But he was pitching in anonymity out there in the West Coast.
Yeah, once he got out of Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he pitched for some decent teams in Atlanta
Yeah.
when he was there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, I was happy with what they did over the winter when they got him and Carson Smith. And
Oh,
of course
I was
Carson
thrilled. Yeah.
Smith hopefully is on the verge of coming back,
Yeah.
they say.
Yeah.
Still excited about that kid.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're slow rolling it with him.
Yeah. I think he could really
He could be one of
a difference maker.
Yeah.
Joe Kelly.
Yeah, I think he's a head case. He's a Southern California kid, and he's just
The impingement
bad 'cause he's
in
got
his
talent.
shoulder.
yeah.
And it's not in the same position where he had the problem last year.
Well, I suppose that's encouraging. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's discouraging.
It
Maybe
could be.
it's
It's different. Yeah.
yeah.
I think his problem is though he has an impingement in his brain. You know. I
You
think,
know, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
That I go back to the old days of early win, you know, and guys like that. Tough pitches. They
Yeah.
went out there and battled you every step of
Sure.
the way. And early win was a beauty. Boy, he wasn't the most graceful guy in the world.
Uh-huh.
And some of the guys thought, boy, I could make a living bunting on this guy. Yeah, he did it once. The second time, he fielded the ball and he put it right in the middle of your back
Yeah.
from about 15 feet away.
95 miles an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah. Well, keep bunting. Go
Yeah.
ahead, you
Yeah.
know? But there's none of that in Joe Kelly. He doesn't seem, I think he'd be a lousy hockey player. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Doesn't seem to want to belly up to the bar there and really get involved in.
And you know, last year my view of Kelly was that maybe he, because of his stuff, he has good stuff and he throws hard. That could he develop into one of these 7th or 8th inning guys who comes in for one inning and throws 95 miles
Could
an
he
hour?
even be
and-
the long guy and go out there and throw 3?
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know at this
I don't
point.
either.
I don't know what to say about him. He's
Nope.
been a disappointment. And all I can say is that it looks like the Cardinals might have really known what they were doing when they unloaded him and Craig on us.
They don't make too many mistakes.
Both of those guys they sent our way.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Pablo Sandoval, or Can a 300-pound third baseman find happiness? What the hell is this all about?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a problem. And, you know, I mean, we all know he's obviously got an eating problem.
Yep.
He obviously didn't take care of it in the off season.
Ignored it.
So it's, what do you do now?
Yep.
Right?
Now, he did some working out, but he kept on eating and drinking, too.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw there was an article and an interview, actually, I think on Comcast a week or so ago, with the guy that was his personal trainer.
Yes, I saw
when
that.
He was in
Yeah, and
San
he said this
Francisco.
guy's got a problem.
That he literally needs to be chaperoned.
24/7.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
You know, this is great.
But at this point, I don't know what you do other than hope you can get him back to a point where some other sucker will take him off your
Real
hands.
quickly, there's a lot going on in Pablo's shoulder, Dave Dombrowski.
Yeah.
The initial MRI was not good, Sandoval. His shoulder was too sore for a thorough exam, by Dr. James Andrews. John Farrell said that. He will be examined again in a couple of weeks. He was given a cortisone shot to calm things down, John Farrell. Will he be inactive for the next period of time until he sees Dr. Andrews again? I don't know the medical plan, John Farrell. Will he recover enough to swap selfies with his next female admirers? How many pounds will he put on in the next 2 weeks? Is this all the result of eating at Chipotle's every night? Could he have gotten an inflamed shoulder from a bad burrito? This is Pablo. I wake up this morning with soreness. I don't have a lot of motion, so something happened. So later I will have the doctor look at it when I get here. Yesterday I don't feel nothing like weird, but when I woke up this morning I couldn't even move my arm. That's why I was worried about it.
Yeah.
This is as clear as mud.
Yeah. It's a sad situation.
Do you think he's really hurt?
I think he is hurt, yeah. I think he probably got hurt. You know, I think he's been hitting. He's been in the cage. He's, you know.
Is it possible on one of his trips to Chipotle that he might have got in a wrestling match and hurt his shoulder?
Anything is possible.
With Pablo, yeah.
Pablo seems like overall a jolly type of fellow, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't think he's by nature a
I think
troublemaker.
he's a very typical Caribbean player.
Yeah, he's a
What me worry.
pleasant guy.
Yep. Let's we can play baseball and party too, all on the
Sure.
same day. You know.
Let's go grab a burger.
Yeah, that's it. Or a few
Or a
burgers.
few, yeah.
What was Rutledge thinking the other night when he launched that Hail Mary throw to first base?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, you know.
He's a major leaguer. You don't throw the ball in that
Yeah, and I'm
situation.
sure
and boy, that unleashed the hammers of hell.
I'm sure as soon as it left his hand, he knew he had messed up.
Shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Does John Farrell look like a confident decision maker, or does he look like someone with a bad case of the jitters, doing the old Delaware two-step here?
Well, I think he's, I don't know if it's the jitters, but I think he's panicking, and he seems to be over-managing a little bit.
Resolute, he has not been.
Yeah, he's...
Do you think he's hearing
making
the
some
gentle tiptoeing of Torey Lovello sneaking up
I
on him?
believe so.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I can't explain it any other way.
Right.
I really can't.
So, you know, they're not going to fire him in April. So, you know, let's say it's 40 games. What do you think the record has to be at 40 to get him fired? I mean, if they're 20 and 20,
I mean,
he's
look,
still going to probably stay on, right?
Travis Shaw was leading the team with a .342 batting average, and yet Farrell was pinch hitting for him with Chris Young, batting .133.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, a few more stunts like this, and I don't care how many games you're in.
Right.
You know, you have to say to yourself, John,
You're costing us.
buddy, Hanley Ramirez, what a difference a year makes.
We'll see. Yeah, he's off to a good start. He showed up with a good attitude, and he's working. And
I get it.
You know, it's a long season, so let's see what happens.
I've got to be happy as all get out.
Yeah.
With Hanley right now.
I think Hanley likes to play baseball. I don't think that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think the problem is going to be, can he stay healthy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Clay Buchholz.
Yeah.
Good start Monday morning. Maybe the Red Sox should change all their home games to 11 o'clock in the morning when Buchholz is pitching.
Yeah, even though he's kind of complaining about it after the game.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Life's tough when you're making $13.5 million to stink.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it really stinks.
Yeah.
Red Sox hitters, note, let's get some support for Stephen Wright.
Yeah, how about that? Huh?
Yeah,
he's looked good.
Pitched well.
You've been a Stephen Wright fan for a
That's
couple of
right.
years sitting
I
at
have.
this table.
Yeah. Heath Hembry.
Yeah.
Pitched the ball well last
He did.
night. You know, he's got a good arm, but, you know, like he's about 27 now, so
He's bounced up and down
it's
a few
about
times.
time that steadies himself here. And another performance or two like he showed last night, and he'll have a spot out there.
Yeah, at the back end, sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got to get Carson Smith back, but even
Milt-
with Carson Smith
Yeah,
back, I
oh,
think there's
yeah.
a spot for it.
Milt Pappas passed away.
Yes,
76 years old,
So
17 years in the majors.
I remember Milt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
209 wins. But this is the thing, 17 years in the majors, 21 lifetime home runs.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a good hitting pitcher.
I'll say.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Maybe he and Earl Wilson go get some batting practice together in heaven.
There you go. Yeah. And another visitor to heaven here, Doris Roberts, passed
Yeah,
away
I saw that the other day.
at the age of 90. Raymond's mother.
Yeah, she had a great run.
She did, and she was fantastic in that role.
Yeah, she was.
That role was made for her.
Yeah.
That was great stuff. Well, tell me something. What else you got? What do you get to say to finish things up?
Well, it's spring, and hope springs eternal,
It does.
right?
And my
So,
grass is growing.
despite the fact that the Bruins finished terribly, the Celtics seem on the verge of finishing terribly. The Red Sox look like they're never really going to get started. You know,
That's scaring me. The Red Sox are
yeah. But
man,
I still think
stuck in neutral.
it's fixable because you know what, their competition's not that great.
They're not hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the part that.
And who really scares you that if they couldn't get their team together and maybe make the right acquisition or two,
Yeah, they're going to have to.
play midseason.
Boy, I'll tell you, Toronto scares the hell out of me. Boy, can they hit.
Yeah.
The Red Sox.
Oh, they can mash.
The Red Sox got to find a little bit more punch for the order.
Yeah. The question
Red
is,
Sox-
do they have it and it just hasn't really
Am I the
materialized
only
yet?
one that thinks they have a dysfunctional roster? The Red Sox.
Well, it's not perfect certainly,
Yeah.
and they got a young players that they're depending on, and you know Betts and Bogarts really haven't done
Yeah.
a heck of a lot yet. So
I think we'll continue
we'll
to
see.
monitor the situation.
yeah,
We'll have Patriots draft coming up pretty soon, so we get a couple more full-time programs coming for you folks at home. So we thank you for tuning in.
indeed.
And we promise you that we'll just stay right on top of things.
But you got it.
On that note, good night.
Night now.